It's not a Western without a jailbreak. Welcome back to Writer's Theory. I'm James Winterthorn, and today we're going to go over my 60-second day of writing. That's correct. I don't know why that sounded weird in my mouth, but it did. So today is 62. Yesterday, we left off with the protagonist, Cole Mercer, being questioned in a jail cell in Canyon City. And we're going to pick up where that scene left off today. I still want to keep the back and forth here to increase the tension of the story, to try to raise the stakes a little bit. And also, I have introduced actually meeting the character Garrett, who has been referenced earlier. And here is the first time we're actually seeing this character. And the treatment of him, I think, is not what I expected to do. But I needed him to be different than John Triton. I needed him to be different than Silas Shaw. And so I just went a different way with this particular character, because I have quite the cast of antagonists now. And so I wanted him to be very different. And so I didn't expect him to turn out the way that he did, but here we are. Well, let's get to the first part of day 62 and see how I did. And so I wanted Garrett to be a real hothead, and that it was one of the things I didn't quite expect. I wanted him to be dangerous too. Like, I wanted there to be no question that he was a dangerous person. And that was part of my attempt here with these interactions. Because Triton, I wanted to be a level-headed character, even though he is opposed to Mercer. But I wanted a dangerous character, and that's the role that Garrett plays for me. So we still have some questioning, some interrogation happening here. And this is good because this increases the tension, but it also helps me tell the story. This back and forth between opposed characters can do a lot for developing the plot line. Yeah, I wanted there to be some civility still. But there being an unspoken danger involved, even though everybody is relatively nice to each other. And so I wanted Mercer to ask the question if he's being treated fairly. And then, so the questioning is done here, and they just kind of, so they're just moving on. So I put a scene break here, and then had him really just toiling in the prison cell for another day. So again, like, I don't need to describe that entire day. I can just explain that it had passed. Again, that mix of exposition and narrative storytelling, when describing a whole nother day when nothing happens, is not beneficial toward the story in general. There's no need for me to draw that out. We know it sucks. And, I don't need to describe it and then put the reader through that as well. He's there for another day. Scene moves on. We're going to see what happens to him with the rest of day 62. So again, here is my use of exposition here. Just kind of explaining what happened on those days where we're just summarizing. And here, this is a convenience for me, and I'm referencing what happened. This event was referenced back in chapter 5, And so I did want to keep, I wanted this to be a little uncertain here. And then, of course, we find out that it's Alvarez who is breaking him out. And it's a little too easy. And so we referenced back in chapter 5 that the breakout of the jail was staged and that the sheriff wasn't terribly happy about it. And so that's what's happening here, is that Alvarez was just a little too easily informed of how to get Cole out. And with the intent that they would, of course, follow the group to get this package. And so just like that, they're out of jail. I didn't need it to be like dynamite blowing stuff up or anything like that. I don't think that, I mean, that might be exciting. I don't know how much it adds to the story. So what's the balance I want to strike between just having gunfights and explosions and chases and violence in general versus telling a good story that gets the point across in a meaningful way. So I know there's a balance to strike between entertaining and telling the story. And I'm curious what your thoughts are about this type of story and how much should I increase the action and, in this case, violence to have it be a more exciting story. I didn't feel like it was necessary, so I did not do that here, but I did wonder how I should do the breakout of jail. So I went with the more sneaky and sly approach that doesn't blow any buildings up. So I don't know if you saw there as well, I passed 60,000 words at this point. So only 20,000 more before I hit my minimum word goal. So really excited about that. I'm bringing this part of the story to a close. And we'll get to the last sequence of the story after this. And so with that, let's do today's line of the day. If you've come to shoot me, you'd better get on with it. I've had enough of the venison stew and chicken from the inn. Pissing in a bucket is getting tiresome too. So this is Cole being still a little irreverent and cheeky just about being put in jail and all of the shenanigans happening around him, and him letting it be known to this mysterious person breaking into the sheriff's office. So I like it because it tells us a little bit about Cole and just about how he responds to being locked up. So for that reason, it's today's line of the day. So that does wrap up this segment of the story. And this went on for I think it was a number of writing sessions where I didn't know that this segment was such a gap that it required to be filled with so much content, which is fine. It doesn't need to be shorter. I think I just planned on it being I think I planned on it not being so long. So tomorrow's writing session, we're going to go back to the abandoned outpost where I had set up the scene for in the last chapter. So we're going to get back right to the beginning of the climax of action and really get into the exciting part of the story. I didn't feel the need to have an explosion here, but probably going to have some explosions coming up. So if you're waiting for that action, it's coming your way. So if you want to see that happen, please like and subscribe, and we'll get to that tomorrow. Oh, no, there's a line of the day to do. I don't know why that sounded weird in my mouth, but it did.